guys maintain your character while you're improvising? You know, like how do you? What's the key? How do you come back to reality, as they say, or back to script?
Ruben would keep us grounded. I mean, we improv'd a lot, and Danny and I really had a good chemistry. We didn't know each other before the film. We knew of each other, but we really hit it off, and we would get really like into the improv and kind of go crazy. And Ruben would kind of have to be like a parent in a way, and he'd be like, "All right, guys, settle down. You're getting off track and being crazy." Like we would just say the craziest stuff. So Ruben kind of helped us, police a little bit, like how far and how crazy we got. But yeah, it was really fun. It was one of the funnest times I've ever had working with Danny, and we really went crazy.
Yeah, like all the improv, this script was really tight and was in good shape. So when when everything's there and the characters are there, it just kind of gives you the confidence to be able to just push the comedy and not necessarily have to be improvising to find the scene. So we already had a good base to start with. So a lot of the improv.
We get it, Danny.
You get it, Aziz? Ask Aziz a question.
It always felt like an embellishment, like it was adding to it as opposed to taking it in a different direction or going someplace else. So it was always just an enhancement of this thing.
Chris Aziz from Q Syndicate. There's a lot of bromance going on in this movie, and I'm wondering when a bromance becomes full-on gay.
Can everyone stop saying bromance? For some reason it bothers me. I don't know.
I call it a double buddy comedy. That's how I like to describe this movie, as a double buddy comedy, because we're so used to buddy comedies, but this is really two pairs of friends, and to me the friendship never strays too gay. It's just a true affection and support and love for a friend, which I think Aziz's character represents by putting his life on the line to help his buddy. And then at the end, obviously Travis and Dwayne, they have a unique relationship, but I think Dwayne proves what a good friend he is when instead of chasing after the money and after the guys, he goes to help his friend who's on fire. So to me,
there is an alternate ending we shot where we all fuck each other. But when we watch that, we're like, this is turning into a gay thing.
Is that on a DVD, do they?
Hopefully. Yeah, I agree with what Aziz says, so he doesn't cut me off.
But I think the cool thing about the movie is that it does show like the relationships of guys and how tight a friendship can be, and how it is almost like a relationship when you do have a best friend, you know what I mean, and how just how close guys can be without chowing each other's cocks or whatever, but but just how you do get, you can be so close and intimate with another guy without, I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool about the movie. It just shows like, guys are awesome.
it's a bromance. It's a bromance.
It's like a bromancing the stone.
But it is.
That's what it was going to be called.
It is so great. Like, you guys are the bad guys in the movie, and you have such a sweet relationship, and it really pays off.
It's very bromantic, right, Aziz?
Yes, it is.
This question is for... Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. This question is for Jesse. You've played a number of possibly shady characters lately. This film, Social Network, and also the really remarkable and underappreciated Holy Rollers. Is this by choice or coincidence or design, that your choice of characters?
Thanks, Mom. No, I mean, all those characters had like a real inner life. Even though the movies look differently, all the characters have they're going through something real, experiencing in a realistic way. This one is very heightened because he's experiencing this mortal fear at every moment. But it's all. It's all the same to me, which is kind of treating something realistically and experiencing whatever the character's experiencing in in a given moment.
Were you guys nervous about making a comedy about such a sort of dark subject, especially when this was based on a real life incident which did not have such a happy ending?
When I got the script, at least, I thought it was this amazing way to, this premise set up, gave this incredible opportunity for my character and for Aziz's character to be forced to rob a bank. So it seemed like all the great comedy in the script for us came out of, how these guys would realistically have to rob a bank, and the bomb was kind of the best vehicle and device for that storyline.
I mean, when I first read the script, I was like, how is this gonna like work? And but the people behind it, like Ruben is amazing, and the producers Ben Stiller and Stuart Kornfeld, I just felt like in their hands, they're gonna really, I trusted them a lot. You know what I mean? And as far as the incident, I mean, it's so different. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is like verbatim what happened. It was so far from it that it didn't really. I don't think it rubbed any of us. That would be Aziz's phone.
That's my text message sound. Sorry about that.
Not professional.
Very jovial text message noise, though. It's the horn if you have an iPhone. It's better than the marimba one. Switch it. It's better.
Danny, once again, you have treated our delicate sensibilities to ear blistering filth.
You're welcome.
I'm just wondering if you're like a virtuoso of profanity in your private life, and if you, what is your language in your private life?
I speak fluent Spanish. No, I mean, this is just weird. I just like lowbrow, dirty, juvenile humor, and so some of the projects that I take on tend to have that flavor, but it's not really a flavor that I don't like call my mom and say, hey, what the fuck's happening? That's so respectful.
I have a question for the actors and one for Ruben. For the actors, there's a great scene with Nick and Danny's character where they argue about the mood music that they have to listen to get ready for something. I was wondering, when it came to getting in the mood or getting the right frame of mind for your big action scenes, did you do anything differently? Did you listen to any specific kind of music? What did you do to get prepared for that? And for the director, I won't give away any spoilers, but there's
I've seen the movie.
For people who haven't seen the movie. The question is, there's a great nod to a Ghostbusters costume, one of the characters. I was wondering if there was...
In this movie or the Zombieland?
No, one of the characters who has a flamethrower. It's a very Ghostbusters-like costume. I was wondering if that was intentional or not.
Well, I'll just answer that one quickly, just because, no, it wasn't. Just that Carhartt kind of classic work suit was just a reference that for the types of guys that we kind of based Travis's character on, but it wasn't in any way meant to be evoke Ghostbusters.
And for the actors, what did you do to get prepared for your big action scenes? Did you listen to any particular kind of music or?
The best of Peebo Bryson was one. Was in the trailer the day I got there.
Yeah, I just listened to like an audio loop from gay pornos.
And Jesse exclusively listens to Waka Flocka Flame on such a loud level that I would hear it in my trailer as well.
For Ruben, sort of picking up on the last question, both your movies do riff on pop culture significantly. You go into each movie with a set screening list for the actors to watch of movies that you know you're going to be referencing, or that you yourself go back and check on before you embark on production?
Definitely for me, the way I learn about movies and get inspired to think of ideas for movies is by watching existing movies. And for this one, and it's kind of it's not too, hopefully it doesn't turn out as derivative, more as like a filtering process. But I watched every bank robbery movie there was and made sub-clips of like the bank robbery from Heat or the bank robbery from, Point Break or whatever, and just I had like 20 of them and would watch them. I think I shared them with you guys a little bit before we went and did it. As far as the references, I actually don't prefer all those references. In both cases, it was kind of built into the script or whatever came out of the improv, and I'm not opposed to them, but I'm doing, the next film I'm doing is a period film and set in 1949, so hopefully it will have no pop culture references.
Sean Penn's gonna do a Family Guy joke in that. Wait a second, this is really taking me out of this.
Hey guys, I'd like to know about the action scenes, particularly in the cars and the chases, and learning, and for Jesse, learning how to drive like that.
Thanks. I actually had to unlearn all the rules that I was taught because we were, asked to just drive recklessly. We were surrounded by 25 stunt drivers who had to react to anything we did. And the way Ruben wanted to shoot it was in the spirit of the movies that our characters like and reference against his will. Like French Connection.
Yeah, it was all the intention with the action of the car chase was, now there's all these pursuit arms and cool cameras that can kind of like Fast and Furious style make really cool car chases, and I like purposefully wanted it to feel retro, and so we didn't do anything tricky with the car chases and kind of use the same mounts and angles that they would use in a a movie from the genre, kind of the era that a lot of these Beverly Hills Cop and Lethal Weapon and those types of movies. So even though we have this fancy, they're called a pursuit arm, it's a Porsche, I don't know if you've seen them, with like a 8-foot jib on the roof that can like do crazy moves and fly around. I told them like, just keep it still and like don't move it and follow them, and we just use it as a mount for the tracking shots. But yeah, as to Jesse's driving, he really is actually a phenomenal driver, and pretty much most of that car chase is him driving himself. And we like now they tow cars, and we didn't do much of that at all. It was a lot of free driving, and then even on like in a scrapyard when he rips out and does donuts, and when he pulls over on the side of the road and screeches, like that's all Jesse. He's just a really talented driver, which I don't know how he developed that talent, but he's really good at it.
Thanks. You were a tad horrified, Ruben, in the junkyard.
Yeah, no,
he scared
me. Yeah, no, he would scare me on a daily basis because I really thought he'd put the car through like a giant piece of metal. Like, that scrapyard is just filled with things that can kill you, and he really, it didn't appear like he had control when he'd be driving away, and I just thought, at least for Aziz's sake,
It actually, it is Jesse in the car, but in the passenger seat, it's not me. It's actually Jamie Foxx, and they CGI'd my face. Super close, because I was too scared.
So I have a question for the actors. You guys were hilarious. How are you able to keep a straight face during filming the movie?
I mean, I was laughing all the time.
Yeah, Nick didn't. Is the answer to that one?
I was really bad. I was constantly laughing. I mean, we improvised so much, and Danny and I got into this habit of like trying to just say the craziest shit to make each other laugh. So I was the worst at it for sure. I was constantly laughing. But I mean, luckily, it's a movie. It's not all filmed live in one take, so we can stop and start over. But I definitely was the worst at laughing.
This is a question for Ruben and anyone else who'd like to chip in. What do you think are the basic elements that turn an action comedy into a classic?
That's a great question. I don't know if it's something that can necessarily be accomplished in the making of it. I think everyone aspires to make the best version of the movie that they can. I think ultimately it will be decided by the audience and how it's perceived, because there's some action comedies that I think if we were to rewatch today, maybe we wouldn't rate, but they're just so beloved from our youth, and I'm sure there's great ones that were underappreciated that we're less familiar with. So hopefully this will go down in the classic category. I think it has the potential to, but ultimately I think it'll be decided by the audience.
I mean, one thing I think is that what I love about this movie is that you have Ruben, who's such a great director and has such a great sense of filmmaking and such a cool style, and then you have us knuckleheads in there just kind of being goofy. And I think that to me is what makes the movie just so great, is you really have a great director, and he let his actors be comedic and be who they are and bring what they did to the role. I mean, he never directed us in the sense that he was like, oh no, like to say this joke. Like he just was like, do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing, and then I think they really came together in a great way.
And make sure there's a lot of profanity. That was the one thing I kept saying. Say more bad words.
Specifically, you said more poopy talk.
Yeah, more.
That's a quote.
This question